So, you want to get better at Age of Empires and know the best civilizations for beginners. Well, you've come to the right place. Here are the top 5 civilizations for beginners in Age of Empires 2 DM. Now, I've chosen these civs because each one of them teaches you something different about AoE2 and DM. If you're new to the channel, this is the last video in my DM Beginner Guide series, which you may find interesting if you're new to the game. Anyway, let's jump right into the list. At number 5 is the Byzantines, a great civ for learning the basics of Age of Empires. Now, the fact that I put this civ in this list may be surprising to players experienced with deathmatch, because with no overwhelming bonuses for DM, they're simply not that competitive. However, the Byzantines have a very open tech tree. This lets beginners decide which units and strategies they enjoy to play. This is great because it lets you learn the very basics of what units are good at, but it also lets you flesh out your own playstyle. At this point though, it's not really about practicing deathmatch so much as finding out what you like about AoE2. At number 4, we have the Goths, my personal favorite civ, which will teach beginners about mass production. This civ is known for their incredible elite Huscarl and infantry spam. Players new to deathmatch often can't produce units very effectively or quickly. They simply aren't used to the quick pace yet. With the Goths though, you're forced to learn how to spam. This is because their army quality is actually somewhat weak, but their army quantity is very strong. You see, the Goths have cheaper infantry created at almost lightning speed, which forces you to get used to spamming units. Also, while playing as the Goths does force you to be aware of and expand your current population, a solid picture-perfect build execution is not necessary at this point. Instead, the Goths let you learn important army and eco-macro management and multitasking. And finally, playing as the Goths forces you to get used to setting up your economy to keep the spam alive. The Khmer are number 3, another personal favorite, and will teach noobs how to make strong pushes. This civ is best known for their powerful Elephant, Scorpion, and Ram combo. Unlike the Goths or another rush civ, this combo is powerful not because of how you rush your opponents, destroying them in the first 4 minutes or something, but instead because of how overwhelming their early push is. Basically, the Khmer army composition is actually the most powerful in the current deathmatch meta. Early elephants protected by scorpions, along with rams to quickly destroy enemy buildings, can absolutely devastate your enemies. In order to be effective, you'll have to utilize basic patrolling techniques that I've gone over in previous videos. You also need a decent build order to be really effective, so it forces you to fix a lot of the sloppy mistakes you'll be making. Number 2 are the Slavs, because they teach you how to choose and adjust a balanced army composition. The Slavic team bonus is that military buildings provide +5 population space, meaning you don't really need houses with them, giving them a very strong opening for the entire team. However, they don't have paladins or camels, so unlike my number 1 pick, they can't abuse this strong opening to create an overwhelming rush. Instead, like the Khmer, this lets you learn how to mass effectively and then execute a strong push. However, unlike the Khmer, the Slavic army composition isn't always the exact same 3-unit combo. The Slavs will make onagers, rams, scorpions, infantry, and boyars, but not all 5 at the same time. As such, you'll need to learn how to adjust your army composition on the fly in reaction and anticipation of your opponent's army choices. You also get to learn important onager and melee unit army control. Onagers can be very strong, but when used incorrectly, they can destroy your own units and not be effective. When used properly, however, and combined with the Slavic boyars or excellent infantry, however, they can be devastating. Additionally, having such a great team bonus encourages communication in team games. Taking the time to inform your allies that they don't need houses can boost the entire team significantly. And finally, at number 1, the single best deathmatch beginner civilization are the Huns. Playing this civilization against your peers and your betters can allow you to really become a competitive player, and here's why. First, they don't require houses. This means they can field a strong army incredibly fast, but also that the execution of this build needs to be extremely precise. This build needs to be so precise because in team games, while their rush is strong, their army composition is weaker than other slower civs later in the game, so they need to get their advantage early. In 1 vs 1s, they also need an excellent opening build because the Huns are the most commonly played civ in competitive games. As a result, opening strategies for this civ have been refined and almost nearly perfected by the top players, and practicing your own game will only make you a better player. To illustrate this, remember that the Huns are the civ used in the 4-minute DM skill test, which I looked at in a previous video. More specifically, for 1 vs 1 Hun wars, you'll need to learn advanced army control techniques, such as patrolling rams, retreating your army, advancing, and flanking. You'll also practice precise economy techniques, such as market openings and setting up an economy with extreme efficiency. This is because the Hun opening is very expensive, and without efficiently creating an economy, you're not going to get very far. Traditionally, this is the civilization beginners use to learn how to play deathmatch. And so, there you have it, the best civilizations for beginners in Age of Empires 2 Deathmatch. This video marks the end of my DM Beginner Guide series. If you haven't seen any of the previous videos in the series, but want to learn how to play deathmatch, I suggest you start from the beginning. Also, if you've enjoyed this video or any of the previous episodes and the guide, consider subscribing on YouTube or becoming a patron at patreon.com/jra. Or better yet, you could do both. As always, thanks so much for watching. If you've liked the series, be sure to share it with people. Anyway, see you next time.